Welcome to Southwest Florida Real Estate Update, hosted by area realtor Jim York and York Real Estate Group of Downing Fry Realty. Our show will bring you the most up-to-date information about the local real estate market, featuring leading experts in the real estate field.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael York with the York Real Estate Group, and welcome to the Southwest Florida Real Estate Update. Today with our host Jim York and his guest Mark Lye, Membership Director at the Old Collier Golf Club. Mark, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. Could you give us a little background about yourself and your unique career?
I don't know how much time we have. I've been around the block a few times, but I started right out of college, and I played the European Tour and a little bit in Australia in 1975, and then it took me a couple of years of gallivanting around the world, and then finally got my card on the PGA Tour. Played there for 18 years, and then my next 18 years I worked for the Golf Channel as one of the announcers there. Was there from day one, and it was a great part of my life. But right now I'm home in Naples, and have two kids, 8 and 10, and I am now the membership director at Old Collier Golf Club, and it's a great place to be out of, I'll tell you that right now.
Hey Mark, I know you've traveled all over the world with your golf, and especially with the Golf Channel. Just tell us, how'd you pick Naples?
Well, people ask me that all the time because I come from Napa, California.
That's right.
And they say, wow, never heard of anyone from Napa. And I said, yeah, it is actually a place. Napa High is where I went to school. But when I played the tour back in the late 70s, we would never get back out to California once we left. There were about 8 tournaments out on the West Coast. We called it the West Coast Swing. And then everything was basically on the East Coast, you know, between Texas and Florida and the Northeast. So I never was able to get home enough. So I settled in a place called Tallahassee for 5 years because from Tallahassee I could drive. I could drive to a third of the events that I played in. Absolutely. Then the tour kind of morphed into this, you know, basically plane ride tour rather than a traveling tour by car. So I kept coming down here on vacation. I always went to Sanibel Island in December for a couple of weeks. And finally I woke up and I said, man, why don't I live here? I can live just about anywhere that I want. Tallahassee was a great town, but it was really cold in December, January. So I came down here, been here since about '86. Wow. And so I guess I'm a cracker.
Yeah. Very nice. Well, we know you're very active in our local community as far as charities go. Could you give our viewers a little background on, you know, what specific charities that you work with and some of the activities that you guys do that our audience could participate in?
Right. Well, my wife and I have a company that basically, we used to run pro-ams for corporations. And when I got out of playing golf for a living, I still did a number of pro-ams across the country. And I found that you know, a lot of these charities weren't doing well because they didn't have the right clientele. They didn't have the right pros helping the charities out. So because Lisa, my wife, and I knew the characteristics of all the guys and the gals that we hung out with that were golf-minded, we said, hey, you know something? So-and-so would be perfect for this organization. I think they could create a nice event around this type of professional. Pros on the tour, day in and day out, are tough people to get into these charitable events because they have so little time. So Lisa and I, we got guys like between 40 and 50. Those are kind of your lean years on the PGA Tour. So we got a nice stable of people, guys and gals, to be able to do this corporate type of stuff. And because they were successful early, other companies would kind of hire us along and say, hey, I really heard what you did with XYZ Corporation. Can you help me out with my clients in this event? And so it just has kind of sprung up. And so now we do a couple of really nice events here in Naples. One is called the Mark Lye Foundation. We started it from scratch, and it took a heck of a lot of manpower and people with big hearts. But that event has sprung into generating from 10,000 when, you know, it was a fledgling event to now 1.925 it made last year. Wow. So that's what our dream is to start something from the ground floor and move it on up. So we're also involved with the JDRF, which is Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. My son is a young diabetic. He's had it since age 4. So now we're doing a tournament called the Lucas Cup, named after my son. And we've done very well with that in the first 3 years. And we're also involved with Champions for Learning. We're involved with our church, and we're also involved with our school, Naples Christian Academy, and trying to raise money.
Well, Michael knows Naples Christian Academy. He went to school
Spent
there.
many years there, yep.
Yeah, it's a great spot,
school,
isn't it?
yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Mark, why don't you, one of the reasons we have you here today is to talk about your membership at your club over there. Maybe you could just lead us in on that.
Well, you know, it's a great club. I was a member out in California at a club called Silverado Country Club, and I had a lot of friends, older friends, because I was going to college and all that stuff. But I had to come out here and kind of find, you know, I was at Mediterra, I was at Bonita Bay where I lived. It was one of the first places I lived here, as well as Fiddlesticks. So these are all really nice premier clubs.
Absolutely.
And then Old Collier came around, you know, we're really fairly young. I mean, we're in our 15th year right now. But as I was living in Bonita Bay, still playing those golf courses, I said, wow, Old Collier's opening up, and you know, there was also Calusa Pines and all that. But I said, Old Collier's really my cup of tea. And somehow, I played in a golf tournament, the British Senior, and I used a caddy from Old Collier. And so we got on the air, because I was doing Golf Channel work at the same time, and I mentioned that the caddy was from the Old Collier Golf Club. And so then Peter Jacobson and I were close friends, and he was a member. And so the very next week, they asked me to join Old Collier. So I've been there for about 12 years, and now membership director for 4.5. So really landed in a good place there. It's a great club. It's a very high-end club, awesome golf course with caddies from all over the country. And not only this country, but the UK. Our caddies are from Ireland, Scotland, England, all those places, a lot of Canadian caddies. So we're probably the most well-known club for having the best caddies. Some of our caddies are from Carnoustie, Turnberry, the old course of St. Andrews, Renaissance. So our members are really treated to a round of golf with these, you know, lifetime caddies.
Yep.
Well, Mark, we're going to take one little short break here, and we'll be right back in a minute, okay? Thank you.
When picking a realtor, don't just pick anyone. Pick someone with experience. Pick someone with a proven track record. Pick a realtor like Jim York from Downing Fry Realty, the #1 brokerage with the most real estate transactions in the area.
My husband and I had very specific ideas about what we wanted in our new home. Jim York was able to help us find the home that was ideal for us.
With over 20 years of real estate experience in Southwest Florida, Jim York has negotiated over $200 million in sales contracts. Selecting the right realtor is a critical decision that can earn you thousands when selling or save you thousands when buying.
Jim also helped us with a mortgage lender and a good real estate attorney. He went that extra mile, and his experience says it all.
Call Jim York for a no-obligation meeting at 239-273-6727 or visit his website, www.naplesyorkrealestate.com.
Welcome back. Mark, maybe you could go into you know, what makes the Old Collier Club you know, so unique, the experience there, and why you feel so comfortable at Old Collier.
Well, I really think it starts with the golf course. Tom Fazio did the golf course, and I know Tom very well. He did the redesign of the Masters, and you know, at Augusta National, if they're picking him to do the redesign there, I think he's pretty highly regarded. But Tom's a real cerebral guy when it comes to golf course design. And when you have you know, clients like the Colliers to build for, I think you want to do something that's representative of your maximum talent level. So Tom Fazio, I was lucky enough to walk around with him for, they had a 5-hole presentation where they grassed in 5 holes, and the director of golf, Steve Waugh, was out there playing, and we were following him as Tom Fazio was talking about these holes. And I said, wow, this is really a spectacular golf course on a pristine piece of land here. I mean, we're just on the other side of Walmart.
Yep.
Okay, and some people that I bring there for the first time said, wow, I always wondered what was here. And it's just a great piece of land, and Tom Fazio created a golf course that I could play literally every day. Now, I've been at a lot of clubs, and I think, you know, I've told you, Jim, that I've lived at Bonita Bay, fantastic operation there. I've lived at Quail West. I've had a house in Mediterra. These are all fine, fine places. But Old Collier's just golf only. There are no dwellings out there. There's no real estate sale. Sorry about that. But it is a golf only club, and the caddies, single bag caddies from the UK and all over the world. It just makes a unique golf experience that, you know, me being a tour player, that's what I'm used to. Single bag with a caddy playing around the golf. So that's the uniqueness of Old Collier.
How many members are there?
Right now we're at 216. You know, it's a very expensive place to be at, but time is important to some of our high-end, you know, members.
Right.
They don't have time to wait in line. We have no tee times out there. You can just basically come in and just give the golf shop an idea of about when you want to play, and you show up and they're on you. You know, once you get in through the gates, you really want for nothing. They have a system where they know you're on the property immediately. They have a drink waiting for you in the locker room. They try and stick you with your favorite caddy. The food is outstanding. So with that, it's kind of like I've heard a couple of our members talk about Disney World for golfers, and that's about what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And the golf course, you did mention it was done by Tom Fazio, but there's also another unique facet to it, that it has a special grass that you guys were heavily involved in incorporating.
Yeah, you guys, I think it's the planners of the Old Collier Golf Club. They were limited in their ability to have adequate water. So the way it was explained to me is that they had to use a grass that didn't need regular water or could survive on salt water, because that's all we were able to drill. We had to drill wells, and the wells that we have are heavily salinated, okay? So with the salt content, this grass, paspalum, can survive. I mean, it doesn't thrive, but it still stays green even when you water it with salt water. So paspalum, we are the first course in the country to go paspalum tee to green. I've seen a lot of courses where they have the tees paspalum, or the driving range, or, you know, or the fairways, but greens as well as paspalum surface. Now we're in our third generation of paspalum, because as you know, paspalum is a real grainy type of grass, and it's real grabby. But the blend that we have on the putting surfaces now is known as platinum, and it putts very close to the best Bermuda surface that you can have. Any Tiff Eagle or Tiff Dwarf or Champions grass, it putts very similar to that, and it survives on salt water. So we're kind of like the test pilot to see how paspalum works. And now I go to a lot of golf tournaments, and more courses are going to this paspalum because they're challenged with good water. So paspalum on fresh water, there's no better surface out there, tee to green and on the putting surfaces. And a good example of that is a club here that's not far away. It's Talus Park, okay? And they have the benefits of fresh water on paspalum grass. And I mean, you've gone out there and you've seen what it's like. There's like carpets out there. So, you know, boy, if we ever got fresh water at Old Collier, it'd be the bomb. But we have to, you know, use what we have. And so this grass can survive, but it doesn't thrive in salt water.
And I take it, for our viewers, any type of golfer could play there? Yeah, how is it set up for play?
Well, in all...
Not everyone is a Mark Lye.
Lucky for them. We have 6 sets of tees out there at Old Collier, and I really enjoy watching a guy move up to a place that he should be. So many of us really feel like we can play the course from the back end of the tees, and it takes forever. And it also is very dampening on the spirit for some guys as we all get older. And we're getting there, Michael. You don't know that yet. But as you get older, you need to move up. So Old Collier's got 6 sets of tees, and playable for just about everywhere, or for just about everybody. The typical Florida course has, you know, these forced carries, dog legs, you know, and you have to force it over the lake. So some courses aren't really friendly to the higher handicap. Old Collier is, and that's what Tom Fazio was really smart in developing, a golf course that all skill levels could really compete on.
Absolutely.
So I think he did a great job with it.
Well, Mark, we're going to take another break here, and we're going to be right back. Thank you.
Selecting the right realtor is a critical decision that can earn you thousands when selling.
Jim sold our villa in just 2 days. We got the highest price in the community. He then helped us to negotiate and purchase our new home here in Tiburon. I'd recommend Jim. His expertise made all the difference.
Call Jim York for a no-obligation meeting at 239-273-6727 or visit his website, www.naplesyorkrealestate.com.
Welcome back. Mark, if you wouldn't mind maybe telling us, or telling our audience where you call home in Naples now.
Well, we're building a home in Talus Park. It's kind of new for the 3rd time. We all know, all you realtors know, it was
Right.
Tuscany Reserve, and it was having a hard time, and this is the 3rd owner that's had it. We've heard that before, the 3rd owner is the charm.
Right.
And Kitson and Partners has really done a fantastic job in establishing a culture there, a really neat culture. Everything is kind of first class. And like I said, I mentioned some other courses before that are fantastic. They seem to be a little bit older. Talus Park is a newer style golf course done by Pete Dye and Greg Norman.
Absolutely.
2 of my other favorite guys besides Tom Fazio. Having played a lot of golf with Greg and seen Pete Dye out around the scene, they created a really nice golf course. But I think the reason I'm there is location and the fact that it's relatively new. It seems like we're running out of dirt here, and this has been the new place where they've really created a nice atmosphere. First class food, first class operation. The staff is incredible. In fact, I've held my my son's event there called the Lucas Cup the last 2 years, and they bring it all out. I mean, they do really well with food and beverage. And the location is perfect for us. Our school at Naples National, or excuse me, Naples Christian Academy, is you know, about 12 miles down the road. Currently, we're living in the Colony, which is a great place. I thought I'd never move again, but our kids changed schools, and we're too far away up there in the Colony. So that's why we're moving halfway between the Talus Park.
Oh, very nice.
And Mark, for our viewers, what's a good point for amateur golfers? What should they, we're all striving for the best.
Yeah.
So, including myself, so is it equipment or is it lessons or what's your, give us a little input on that, will you?
I think you have to use what you have. I mean, you can't use what you don't have. And sometimes, you know, people get into this equipment thing. The only way I can get better is to get the best equipment. As we get older, we have certain limitations. When I play with some members I know that are having a hard time, you know, they just don't quite get golf. And Mike, you know, golf has always been taught different than any other sport. But I always relate golf to baseball, tennis, throwing, a throwing motion. You know, any athletic endeavor can be applied to golf. So when I try and teach novices or people that are having a hard time, I say, well, what sport did you play when you were a kid? Well, I played tennis. Well, you know, it's amazing, but tennis and golf are very closely related. Swinging a baseball bat, very closely related to golf. So I try and get them conceptually how to play better golf. And let's face it, any sport and anybody that excels is best with balance. Whoever's got the best balance is usually the best athlete, whether it's, you know, tackling a guy that's bigger than you, it's a, you know, if you're an offensive lineman, it's the guy that's, you know, able to balance himself. So many people try and swing the golf club, they're falling all over the place.
Absolutely.
So first I try and go to balance. And if you do everything correct with your feet and balance, then chances are you're going to be a better golfer. But today I'm playing with a gentleman who, you know, he's falling all over the place. And I said, Joe, come on, here. I want you to swing the club in a way that you get the weight from your back foot to your front foot. Well, he started making a few good swings, and boy, he said, oh, wow, that really helps. So use what you have, you know, simplify things. And then if you're really having a hard time, you know, go check it out with your pro. But the game is really not that complicated. Sometimes we make it a little bit harder than it actually is.
It's like Arnold Palmer said. I grew up playing with his grandson, Sam Saunders, and, you know, he'd be on the range just, you know, the only thing you need to focus on is your grip. You know, all these guys, they got all these contraptions, alignment sticks, all this stuff. And you just, you know, make sure you got that grip pointing to the right shoulder. So
some people need to have a little bit of a gimmick to help them out, but I like to play golf the natural way. Just hit it and find it and have fun.
Well, Mark, Michael and I really want to thank you for coming on the show, and I know our viewers are going to find this very interesting, learning about yourself and Old Colliers, and again, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure. Good luck. Have a great year, guys.
Thank you.